Okay, so my presentation is entitled Youth Leadership in Achieving Key Principles, Policies, and Mobilizing Advocacy to Transform Voices into Action. Key statement, transforming voices into action for our young people. Unfortunately, I was supposed to be presenting this with my co-presenter, but she's not with me. I hope to represent her well and present this very effectively. So I would like to just begin with what we expect from this presentation very quickly. One, embracing youth diversity in taking action. Secondly, in the importance of youth participation and as a right for youth. I think we've been listening here to youth participation, and it has been throughout the presentations throughout the day. Thirdly, peeking into the unmet needs in the SRH/HIV space. Fourthly, advocacy for youth participation in policy, youth leadership and why. And then finally, the following recommendations. And for our target audience, Gen Z OE? Gen Z OE? Yes, this is very key for the Gen Zs. And then, of course, for the rest of the international workshop attendees, that is the different policymakers in the house, the program implementers, and really everyone. So quickly, diverse young people taking action. So this is really to embrace youth diversity. The value of diverse young people lies in their ability to bring multiple perspectives, experiences, talents into solving societal challenges. So we want to embrace diversity and youth inclusiveness so that we have a very round conversation. I think you've heard from Aman saying we are one community and there is not really need to break them, and separate. And so we are one. And then just a call to you as a young person. You are the future. You hold the keys to a better tomorrow, and you need to get into the driving seat to secure your future. So this is something you really need to take seriously. And then, of course, this session aims to empower you in believing that you can take action and create impact in your community or country. So I'll begin with the importance of youth participation just very quickly. Number one, it is to strengthen accountability and inclusiveness. Because when young people are part of these processes, they're able to question. They're able to ask, why is this not implemented, or why is this not working? And then secondly, it is to build skills and youth leadership. This is very important. We've had experiences of tokenistic leadership where young people are given space, but it is just for the mere basic representation and not really for them to have an impact on the final policy decisions. So we really need to see that happening by building the capacity of young people. And then fostering long-term impact. I want all the millennials in the house to know that in the next 50 years, you will not be here. It is by chance that you will be here. And who is going to be the next leaders? Guess who? The current Gen Zs. And so it is important that we involve them now so that they are able to learn and be part of the whole process so that when they are in the time that you have now, they're able to make very good decisions. And then lastly, generally, just to build a better tomorrow because young people are involved. And then also quickly, youth participation as a right. And if we know what a right means, it means it's something you're entitled to. So beyond just youth, the importance of youth participation, we also want the young people to know here that you're entitled to participate. It is your right. And we have quite a number of declarations that speak about that, such as the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, the African Youth Charter, the SDGs, of course our national policies in countries as well that encourage young people to participate. So it is something that you're entitled to. And then this is just to quickly just go through what our presenters have shared. And this is just mapping out what they've discussed. HIV and SRH human rights barriers. Someone talked about HIV funding gap. Unaddressed needs for Yankee populations shared by Aman. HIV stigma and discrimination as brought out very clearly by Cynthia. Inadequate involvement of young people in decision making. So what are we saying about these issues? We're saying that these issues are standing in the way of achieving our goals of 2030. And so if we don't, as a collective, come together and address these issues, then we're not going anywhere with our goals and we're instead just undoing the gains we've made. And then quickly, just to take us to youth participation in policy, now that we've understood the issues, now that we've understood that youth participation is a right, I just want to mention that oftentimes, and this has happened in my country, I believe it is not only unique to Uganda, we've had areas where young people, when policies are being designed, young people are only in the design bit, and it's just a basic consultation. It's just to, find out what do you think about this, and it is not really deep that goes through all the stages. So as young people, we demand that we are involved in all the stages, as you've seen here, design, implementation, monitoring, and then evaluation of policies. Because at the end of the day, we want improved policy outcomes, and we believe that when young people are part of these processes, we can intentionally and deliberately be able to design policies that are friendly to young people. And then when we look at all that, we're now talking about embracing youth leadership. I want to say that this entails having young people at the core of assessing their needs, planning and designing, implementing and evaluating interventions that address their needs. So just like the previous slide, beyond just needs assessments, we want young people to also have the planning skills. What are the dynamics in budgeting? I know many of us here as young people, we may not know what the budgets of our countries look like, but it's important for us to, make young people involved and know these big decisions so that their advocacy is more sound and clear. So generally, it is recognizing young people as capable leaders that are able to drive the change. Secondly, recognizing young people as equal partners and not just beneficiaries. And then thirdly, it is equipping young people with the necessary skills to advocate and bring about change. And then, of course, why youth leadership in HIV and SRHR? Number one, I've heard from quite a number of presentations. Young people know their needs. Truly, young people know their needs better than anyone else. And beyond just the statistics and the data, there are human stories that young people can share that are authentic and that can inform policy. So it's important to have them. Young people have the innovative ideas to address their needs. Gen Zs, am I saying something? Yeah, we're very innovative, guys. Don't underestimate us. We're very, very innovative, and we can do a lot. And then they need to be at the decision-making table to ensure their needs are prioritized. Someone has said not so many young people are in these spaces, and yet we need more voices in the decision processes. And then young people having the capacity to influence decisions. This is important. We have situations where there is a mindset of young people not knowing something, but it is for us to let you know that young people actually have the capacity to influence decisions and tell what really works for young people. And then I'll just come to the following or concrete forward steps on involving young people. The first one is being youth-centered over youth-focused. So what does this entail? It entails youth-centered participation is rooted in their realities and follows the pursuit of youth visions and concerns. Youth-centered participation should be transparent, informative. Generally, what the point is saying that we should have young people at the center themselves and not just sitting at boardrooms and thinking for them, but having them there to actually decide. And then I think this particular slide speaks to strengthening youth impact in policy spaces. These letters are a little bit too small for my sight. Just quickly, I'll use my phone. Beyond consultations, take in my views and involve me in subsequent processes, number one. Number two, involve me from the start. Intentional consultative participation with youth to gather and include youth perspectives, spread awareness about the policies. And then next is representation on formal processes, bodies, and respect my views. We're talking about real steering committees for policy where young people can be a part. And then strengthening the influence and impact of youth advisory committees. I'll give an example. Uganda, we have a National Youth Council, but I can tell you that it struggles to make impact at the national level. So it is important that we strengthen these councils, these different councils, so that they are able to speak to real issues of young people and have them accepted. And then prioritizing capacity building. This is to ensure young people are able to effectively deliver on decision making and macro planning. And here I'm talking about the trainings, the different sessions, making young people really understand that they have a role and, they are able to do it, through the different trainings that we do have. And then finally, youth as partners and equal stakeholders. I cannot emphasize this more enough, but co-creation of policies with young people is really important. Shared influence in decision-making is what we are advocating for. Recognizing youth not as beneficiaries, but as equal actors who have a say. We've said this enough, but we still need to say it. And then youth being a part of accountability, review, and evaluation of policies to improve outcomes. I want to say thank you all for listening to me. I want to acknowledge the Youth Reference Group for bringing this presentation to a halt. And I hope that you've gained the best from the youth-only session. Thank you so much.